Hello again. Welcome back, kiddos and CC families. We are going to be going over week 5, Essentials of the English Language. In week 5, what we were covering in community and at home, we're going to be reviewing. There were no new charts introduced for week 5. We're only going to be going over our charts and our memory work that we've already covered. So at the end of this video, I'll have a little pop-up that you can click on. I've created a playlist because I've already done the videos for each of these charts with the songs, the chants, the hand motions. So instead of taking up so much time in this video, I'm just gonna, like I say, have a video at the end of this video that'll pop up, and you can click on that playlist and it'll run you through each of these videos for your charts. So that's what we'll do for our review today. Something that we wrapped up was our sentence purposes. We introduced our final sentence purpose, our interrogative purpose. We have been working with our simple structure. We've gone through all 3 of the other sentence purposes, our declarative, our exclamatory, and our imperative purpose. And we've continued with our sentence pattern of SVI, our subject, verb, and transitive. So again, this week, because interrogative sentences are a little bit different, we're going to go ahead and just kind of run through that as a refresher for the kiddos, because yeah, there's some different things going on. To start with, we're going to be looking at how to change declarative sentences to interrogative purposes. So there's 3 specific ways that we can do that, and they give us the little mnemonic CIA, and that's helping us remember the 3 specific ways to change sentence purposes from the declarative purpose to the interrogative purpose. The C for change means that we would just change the punctuation and the voice inflection. So to change the sentence purpose, we would just be changing the end mark and how we say it. So let's see, we'll say we're starting with our sentence, Jesus forgives. So we have our sentence, our declarative purpose, Jesus forgives. In order to change this sentence, the first way that we could do that would be by changing the voice inflection, how we're saying the sentence, and the punctuation. So instead of just saying Jesus forgives, we could add a question mark and we could say Jesus forgives? Jesus forgives? So we've changed the way that we're speaking it to make it sound like a question and added the question mark. Simple, basic, that's the easiest way to change a declarative sentence to an interrogative purpose. And then we will look at the second way to do that, our I in CIA. And for this one, it says we would insert an interrogative pronoun. It references us to our interrogative pronouns. And if you have your chart F, our interrogative pronouns are who, whom, who's, which, what, interrogative pronouns. Who, whom, who's, which, what, interrogative pronouns. Okay, today we're going to look at who. We're going to replace our subject with who forgives. So now we're going to work on the second way to change our declarative sentence to an interrogative purpose. So now we've said who forgives? Who forgives? Okay, so we've replaced our subject noun with an interrogative pronoun, and that's how we changed our purpose. We'd added our question mark already, and then if we had our same sentence, Jesus forgives, and we wanted to change it a third way with adding, we could add a helping verb. Okay, so we'll pretend we had our regular sentence again. Probably should have just went ahead and went back to the first one before too, but anyway. So we have our sentence, Jesus forgives. Okay, and now we want to change it to interrogative purpose by using add the helping verb. So I went and wrote our list of helping verbs here. So we wanted to ask a question. We could say, does Jesus forgive? Does, we have to take this S off because we don't want to say, does Jesus forgives? It doesn't sound quite right. Does Jesus forgive? So now we have a question. We've changed our purpose from the declarative to the interrogative purpose by adding a helping verb. Does Jesus forgive? Okay. So that's how we change our purposes. Let's see. We're going to look at diagramming, because in diagramming these, a couple little differences too. We had some differences, you may remember, with our imperative purpose and our implied you, our invisible subject that we knew was there. So that was a little bit different for our diagramming. And this one's going to have some differences too. We'll go ahead and start with, does Jesus forgive, since it's already up on the board. Okay. So we've determined that does is a helping verb. Okay. What makes it a little easier to diagram is if we go ahead and rearrange this sentence and put our helping verb next to our verb. Because when we diagram, our helping verb is one of those things that's going to want to stay with its verb. That's, we have our, remember our helping verbs, they come in and help another verb. So when they diagram, they're a pair, they're going together. So in order to help us to diagram and see that and remember that, we could move this around a little bit, and we could say, just erase all this, we're just rearranging it. Our sentence, we could say, Jesus does forgive. When diagramming with interrogative purposes, it helps to make it a declarative, and as you can see, that automatically brought does forgive. Jesus does forgive. Now we just have a declarative sentence. So for diagramming, rearranging, bringing our helping verb to our verb, and making it a declarative purpose is going to make it easier for us to diagram. And just knowing how to bring our sentences from each purpose to another purpose is an important part of our language. And so we're going to look at diagramming our sentence. So we're going to ask ourselves, who or what does forgive? Right, Jesus. Jesus does forgive. That's correct. So we're going to parse, then diagram, sorry. So we'll say Jesus is our subject. And then, is Jesus a noun or a pronoun? Would Jesus be a specific person, place, or thing, or a common, or would it be a replacement word to avoid repetition? Right, it's just a noun, it's not a pronoun. So we have a subject noun. Okay, and then we're going to ask ourselves, what is being said about Jesus? Right, we're saying Jesus does forgive. Okay, so Jesus does forgive. We already determined our verb is forgive, and this is our helping verb. So we have our helping verb and our subject. Okay, and then we're gonna ask ourselves, does anyone or anything receive the action from does forgive? Is this being transferred to anything else? No. Does anyone or anything come after forgive to rename or modify Jesus? Nope, nothing else there, okay? So now we know that this is just a subject, verb, intransitive pattern. We have our subject, we have our verb, intransitive, it's not transferring the action anywhere else. And I'm sorry, my nose itches. Keep scratching my nose. Subject, verb, intransitive, okay? Now to diagram our sentence. We're still going to go with we're still SVI, we're still basic pattern, so our diagram is still going to look very simple. We'll have our line for our subject and our verb, and we'll have our line, vertical line, to separate our subject from our verb. So in our first space, we remember our subject is going to go here. So we have our subject, Jesus, is going to go in our first space, and then our second space is designated for our verb. We said when we're diagramming a helping verb and a verb, they're going to stick together. So we're going to write our helping verb, and we're going to keep it capitalized because this is the first word of our sentence, and we recognize that and know that, and that's how we also can recognize that it actually was a question. Does Jesus forgive? So we're keeping our sentence true to itself. It's truly an interrogative, but we rearranged it, made it declarative for the purpose of diagramming and parsing. Okay. Does forgive. Okay. So that is how we would parse, do our question confirmation, and diagram our interrogative sentence, does Jesus forgive? Okay. Now, we're going to step back and look at our sentence that we changed to interrogative, or changed to, yes, interrogative purpose using our interrogative pronoun. Okay, so that sentence was, we started out with our sentence, Jesus forgive, yes, Jesus forgives. Then we changed it to Jesus forgives, and then we replaced it with interrogative pronoun, who? Who forgives? So we're going to look at that sentence. Who forgives? Okay, so this was our interrogative pronoun that replaced our subject, Jesus. So whenever we are doing our question confirmation and parsing so we can diagram our sentence, we will ask ourselves, who or what forgives? Who forgives? Okay, and whenever we are labeling our interrogative pronoun, we will be labeling it as a subject pronoun. Okay, it's going to be a subject pronoun. Okay, so who is our subject pronoun, and then we're going to ask ourselves, what is being said about who? What is who doing? Who forgives? So that's going to make forgives our verb. Okay, and I probably should have done this earlier. Yeah, it's fine. So we have our subject, pronoun, and we have our verb, and then we're going to establish what kind of verb this is. We did not notate the I on our last sentence, as you may have noticed, but we did notate that it was an intransitive pattern, but we would have wanted to do that too. So for this sentence, does anyone or anything receive the action from forgives? Is being transferred to anything? Nope, nothing there. Okay, and is there anything after forgives that renames or modifies our subject? Nope, nothing there. Okay, so what's that going to mean? That means that we have an intransitive. Okay, an intransitive verb. It's not being transferred to anything. It just forgives. That's it. Okay, and for diagramming, we're doing our same simple diagram. We're going to draw out our line for our subject and our verb. We're going to draw our line to separate, our vertical line to separate our subject and our verb. Our subject is what? Who. It's our subject pronoun, who. All right. And then our verb is forgives. So our verb's going to go in this space. And that is it. You have, again, parsed and broken down with your question confirmation to figure out your different parts of speech, what's going on in your sentence, and then you have, again, diagrammed another sentence. And that was the main things that were going on in week 5 that were new. So I just wanted to go over that one more time just to kind of get that in your brains and just to remember how we're going to change a declarative sentence to an interrogative purpose, because as we move on in our analytical task sheet, there are more tasks to be done, and one of those tasks is going to be changing the purposes of your sentences. So you're going to need to know how to change an interrogative sentence, a declarative sentence, an exclamatory, all of the things. We'll know how to change them. So remembering CIA, one option for changing declarative purpose to interrogative is going to be to change our punctuation and how we say it, voice inflection. Second one would be insert our interrogative pronoun, okay, and to replace our subject. And then we can also add a helping verb, as we did with does. And those are the 3 different ways to change the declarative to the interrogative purpose. I hope you guys found that helpful. Any questions, comments, just leave them down below, and I will, get back with you as soon as I can. Again, once this video goes off in a minute, you will have a video pop up of a playlist of all of your memory work for these charts. So click on that and you can continue your review for week 5. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for being with me. Bye.